Yes, it is Ramadan season and the bandits and terrorists are releasing their captives so that they can go and do Ramadan. From Sahara reporters, Katsina community and bandits hold public meeting, strike peace deal as kidnapped victims are freed. So it is Ramadan time and season. So those bandits in northern Nigeria, those terrorists in northern Nigeria are now releasing their captives, they are striking a peace deal with the communities. This is how we roll. And guess what? Which state is that? It is Katsina, the same Katsina that the former head of state and president of Nigeria hails from. He ran away from that state to Kaduna because of this insecurity. The same state is the state that is stopping or closing public and private schools because of the Ramadan. And the same state, they have a governor, they have a commissioner of police, they have security apparatus, and bandits, criminals, terrorists are striking a peace deal with communities. Look at the pictures. With their guns, with their uniforms and everything, they are striking a peace deal with communities in today's Nigeria, when we have a security system. People that are killing, kidnapping, maiming, destroying houses and villages are left to come out in the open with their guns. People that are supposed to be, whether firing squad or jump, whatever, that's supposed to face the death penalty, are given this privilege of coming to strike a peace deal during Ramadan. So after Ramadan, they will resume their activities. And these are the states, Katsina State, one of the states that had to shut down public schools. We are going to look at the governors. We have 4 states. As it is reported that they shut down public schools. We have Kano State, we have Kebbi State, we have Katsina State, and we have Bauchi State. One surprising thing about this state is that they have something in common. They are all Fulani. The Kano governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, Fulani. Kano State governor, Abba Yusuf, is a Fulani. Bauchi governor have strong ties with the Fulani, and also he's been accused by former governor of Benue State, Otom, of being a Fulani sympathizer, Fulani terrorist sympathizer. Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada is a Fulani. These guys are Fulani. I told you before that the whole northern Nigeria, we just have nine Fulani that are governors in northern Nigeria. No Hausa governor, whilst Hausa has the highest population in northern Nigeria. Kebbi State governor has strong ties with Fulani, and these are the states that have shut down all schools. Even in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, there's a picture, bus taking students to school in Qatar in the morning. Like today, bus taking students to school in Qatar, a Muslim country, a Muslim country that, when we talk about the origin of Islam, it is from that region. They did not shut their schools. But these 4 Fulani governors are sympathizers. For the first time, I believe, in Nigeria's history, shutting down all public schools for 5 weeks. 5 weeks. And Nigerians are reacting. There are other sentiments that are coming up. And these sentiments are that Christians don't have anything to talk when it comes to Muslim states. My brother, there's nothing like a Muslim state in Nigeria. This is a secular country. So far, there's a constitution that binds all of us together. There's nothing like Muslim and Christian states. There are Christians in Bauchi, Katsina, Kebbi, and Kano. So there's nothing like this is not an Islamic regime with your Mumu ticket, with your Muslim ticket. This is not an Islamic regime. So nothing. If you even look at the census, if we count ourselves in Nigeria, you'll be surprised that most of these people have been lying about the population of Muslims and Christians in Nigeria over the years. Now, when you look at this critically, these are Fulani governors that have taken this step. It has not really happened in Nigeria. Christians have their own 40 days fasting. Muslims have their own. That is the Ramadan fast. I think around 30 or 40 days. Ramadan fast. And the Lent. The Christian fast is the Lent. In fact, when Christians want to fast, they don't make, the Bible tells us that if you're going to fast, don't let people know you're fasting. So we don't carry it on our head as if we are telling everybody that we are fasting. No, don't do this. There's a video I watched, I think in a train or a bus, a woman was eating in front of a man fasting during Ramadan. The man told the woman, stop eating your food, because the food you are eating is affecting me. Look at human beings. Oh. Some people, because they practice their religion, they need to stop others from doing their activities. As a Christian, if you are going to fast, anything that has to be fasting, we will not even tell you. We will look as if we are not fasting. The fasting we fast as Christians is between us and God. So the Lent fasting is 40 days. You don't see people carrying it on their head. Most people don't really know that there are Christians that really fast every year. The Lent, the Anglican, the Presbyterian, the Catholics, the Methodists, they fast Lent. Aside that, every beginning of the year, it has been a culture of most Pentecostal churches. They carry out fasting. So now, because we have a Christian governor in Lagos State, then a church like Redeem and many other churches, many other churches, Pentecostal churches, they carry out fasting. A church like Redeem now influences the government in power. Redeem Sele, because those ones are closer to the government in power. If they influence the decision of Lagos State governor, and it shuts down all public and private schools, irrespective of the calendar. Does it make sense? How do you look at it? Because their argument, a Reno Mokri is making arguments that the Islamic calendar, they had the Islamic calendar before they brought in the Western calendar. There's one thing he called it. So we understand that there's an Islamic calendar. That still does not give the excuse that you shut schools for a whole month. And again, understanding that we are not a Muslim country, this is a secular country. So anybody that wanted to use their intelligence to gaslight and try and dribble around the thing, we understand there's an Islamic calendar. That does not give them the right to shut out every other person who is not practicing that religion in that state. If they're going to do anything, it should be exclusive to the Muslims, not the whole state. This is not a I don't know how to put it. Because if we apply that in with the same Christians in other states, okay, we have Christian states in Abia State. Okay, because of the Lent, the Abia State governor will shut down. We are not using the Islamic calendar, we are using the secular, the Western calendar, and it brings us together. If they are going to start using their Islamic calendar, let us divide as a country. Let them pursue their own ambitions. Even Islamic countries are not doing this. So what is Reno Mokri saying? Just gaslighting, playing on the mindset of Nigerians, knowing that Nigerians are not intelligent to think and reason with their brains. However, let's look at these four governors. What is typical about them? Having looked at the fact that these are Fulani, you know the particular man called Bala Mohammed. You see, when I talk about the Fulani, it seems like I don't have a special hatred for the Fulani. I follow a Fulani evangelist on TikTok, a Fulani man who goes around the Sahel to preach the gospel. I follow this guy, and this guy becomes an inspiration to me. I'm particular about the agenda that some of these leaders have come together to create. It looks like if you don't study psychology, there's a lot of psychology going on. If you are not asking your question, how did the Fulani get into Hausa land and took over the economy, the education, the politics? How did they do it? If you cannot give yourself an answer, my brother, there's a big problem. We are just like this, and normal things, they'll just start one thing one day. When you start something one day, nobody rejects it, nobody talks about it. They continue it as a practice. This first state, they just started all this now. Fulani, testing the waters. Let's shut our schools now. What is the aim of Boko Haram? They are against Western civilization. They are against the Western civilization. So these first states now, let's shut the schools. Let's try and shut the schools. Let's see how people will take it. Thank God for the Christian Association of Nigeria and the National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) for telling that we are protesting, and there will be a legal implication if you don't reverse this within how many days. Of course, I know these guys will not reverse it because they are Fulanis. They are Fulanis. I know the reason why I'm saying they are Fulanis. So when they put this first, they do it the first year, nobody says anything. They do it another year because something will always start one day. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So if you are saying this is the first time now, don't generalize it to all Muslims now. Just that state. You cannot stop them. You as a Muslim that you are attacking me, that I'm speaking against those acts. You cannot stop them. Why do you want to stop me? If they start this and it goes, that's how Sharia started in Zamfara. It's spreading. Now they are trying to push it to the southwest and to the southern part of Nigeria because people could not stop them enough. That's how Boko Haram spread and become. Boko Haram started like all these ragtag, all this cultism, all these radical groups. From that group to the killing of their leader, when they killed their leader Yusuf, it now took another dimension. It became political. They started using drones, RPG, propeller. They started using tanks. You know what it is to be able to drive a tank? For a ragtag group like Boko Haram when Yusuf was alive, you know what it means to be able to handle RPGs, use drones to attack, be able to shoot down helicopters. Do you know what it means? The manpower, the experience, the funds that you need to run all those things, to even have a battalion. What it means to be feeding those battalions every day. My brother, they start with testing this, just like the way Boko Haram is, small by small. The Muslims that are attacking the Christians for speaking up against that act, policy, don't generalize. They could not stop Boko Haram when it was in a small incubator age. They could not stop it. Now Boko Haram is now affecting everybody. If we had spoken and made sure we take actions against Boko Haram then, it won't be affecting everybody. But we are listening to those liberal Muslims. Hey, don't generalize. Oh. They will not attack them, the people that have caused the problem. It is you that you are trying to quench the fire. Don't generalize. Oh. It's not all Muslims. They will push more strength in stopping you from speaking. Now, Boko Haram is almost unstoppable. Every regime comes and spends billions or if not trillions of naira in fighting Boko Haram. We are losing our men every day because of the same Boko Haram. That some people were gaslighting us those days not to speak against. A president came and Boko Haram now have international recognition. They were tagged terrorists in the world stage. They became popular as terrorists in the world. And look at the Katsina community in today 2025 having a peace deal meeting with bandits that will come to your village and kidnap you, kill you, destroy your houses, burn your houses. Some people have been rendered useless for life because of the activities of these bandits. And the community leaders will come and say they are striking a peace deal. Huh? Wow. If this same thing will be happening in the southeast, only God knows what movement, what operation the military will have taken. If this kind of thing, this is not the first time under an Erufai, in Ubasani, they were paying bandits not to attack. You don't. No wonder our military will say they are rehabilitating them. Is that the right thing to do, to rehabilitate terrorists? How does it feel? How does it sound in your ear? You have been rehabilitating them for a very long time. It has never ever stopped. If you take a decisive, well, I understand the politics that is going. There are powerful forces involved in all this. So the powerful forces have links, have influence in the military, also have influence with the bandits. So it is a very difficult position for whoever that is in the midst of the to start stopping these guys. But why would we be having a dialogue with a bandit? Now it's Ramadan season. This is the only time the Nigerian army can intensify their attacks on these bandits. 40 days, this Ramadan fast, they may have lowered their guard. They say they are Muslims and will be adhering to Ramadan. And Ramadan is a time that people just keep calm. You see, when I go on Twitter, those people that have been spewing bigotry now, it's like they have stepped down their bigotry because it is Ramadan season. So everybody wants to be holy. So now maybe the bandits want to be holy and righteous. After the Ramadan, they might resume their attacks. So this is the time that the Nigerian army needs to intensify its attacks on these creatures, on these bandits. This Ramadan season, it is the right time for the Nigerian army to go on onslaught. If they are going to be sincere about the fight against banditry, if they really wanted to stop banditry, it is a small deal. Somebody like Abacha, with his own philosophy, will have stopped this thing, all this nonsense. But you see, we play politics with the lives of people. Now, going back to the people that are saying that Christians should not talk about Muslims because it's their own. We have 40 days Lent, they have Ramadan. Tell me which Christian state or which government that's more populated by Christians in the southeast that has stopped public schools. You talk about Monday sit at home. The Monday sit at home that Samanepa declares, or Nnamdi Kanu, whatever, the Monday sit at home, is it the government of the day that authorized that Monday sit at home? I'm looking at the conversation and the brains of who are using to have this conversation. You are calling Southeasterners, what of your Monday sit at home? Many people spoke against that Monday sit at home, which are Southeasterners. The government in charge was not against this. An issue. It's just like you saying Boko Haram declare holiday in the north. Boko Haram declare holiday in the north, and you're using that as an argument of what happened in the southeast. It doesn't make sense. In this secular country, it is condemnable. This is the second. You have 72 hours. You have 3 days to return, to rescind that decision, according to the Christian Association of Nigeria, and also the National Association of Nigerian Students are telling you that you have this few time. So by tomorrow, which the Christian fasting is going to start tomorrow, on the 5th of March, which is Lent. By tomorrow, we expect that you rescind that decision. Look at these 4 states. I'm going to talk about the 4 states. Look at these 4 states. They account for 44% out of school children. Kebbi, Kano, Katsina, and Bauchi. 4 states, they account for 44% out of school children in Nigeria. As much as this is the reality. So, whatever that is happening, let them be hypocritical about it. Somebody is saying that if you don't like it, if you are Christians in that state, if you don't like it, leave that state and go to a Christian state. I've said it, this system has to change. There should be restructuring. If anything is going to work in Nigeria, there should be restructuring. If problem not come from ethnicity, it will come from religion. If not come from religion, it will come from political differences. It must at least something must at least draw us back. Restructuring. If we cannot deal with balkanization, because I know balkanization is going to render some politicians useless. It's going to render a particular tribe, the Fulani, useless in Nigeria. Other tribes might have their, because if you go for that restructuring, that's when the Hausas will rise up against the Fulani. Balkanization, we have a different Arewa, Oduduwa and Biafra. That's when the Arewa will rise up. That's when those that are bragging that we build this, we build that, the oil will be cut off from everybody. That oil that is sustaining Nigeria. So maybe you could the states that are getting like that are the big boys in Nigeria, the states that are the big boys in Nigeria, if they cut off oil from Nigeria, maybe you are eating like 3 times a day, you now start eating 2 times a day or 1.5 times a day. So those South Niger Delta states will now become having so much money. So if not restructuring, or resource control. Regionalism, resource control. At least so that these Fulanis will not. One of the governors said something, and I'll never forget that thing. His name is Bala Mohammed. Governor Bala Mohammed is a ranking spokesperson for the Fulani of the whole world. He was the one who reminded us on a national television program that the Fulani is a global citizen. This reminder was born out of the fact that the Fulani are in several African countries in West and Central Africa. He argued that the Fulani have no respect for land borders. His nationality is just a Fulani man. And when there is need for reprisal attacks in a country like Nigeria, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that takes responsibility, but the Fulani man outside Nigeria. So any attacks going on, he's saying that it is the Fulani that is outside Nigeria that is taking responsibility. The rat inside the house, for a successful robbery, it takes the cooperation of the rat inside the house to inform the rat outside the house, like, this is how it is. Bala Mohammed argued that Fulani cows and AK-47 have a right to any part of Nigeria. That is during Buhari time. Bala was accused by former Governor Otom of Benue State as a Fulani sympathizers. 4 governors that declared this. Boko Haram against Western civilization. 4 governors shut the schools. It starts one after the other. When they start it, they can sustain it. It becomes a norm, and you can't do nothing about it. That is how Boko Haram started. The thought is ordinary. It is now something that you can't do. It has gotten something small, has gotten global recognition. That's how the Fulani was able to conquer the Hausas. They came small. They tried this one, you did not see anything. They tried that one, you did not see anything. They start moving small. You give them ranch, they turn that ranch to a settlement. They start demanding for rights. They start getting involved in your politics and whatever. They gain traction, They start asking for policies that will favor them. They take over they swell in their population. They take over the government. They have opportunities to become government officials or governors. They fix in their people. They carry out jihad. So any which way the Fulani is coming, we understand. We will always keep on exposing. I don't hate the Fulani. I love the Fulani because these guys, Fulani, if you study who the Fulani is, you know that these guys are not small people. It's not like Bala Mohammed said, these guys are not ordinary. But your agenda will not stop me. You will not erase my culture, my heritage, and my civilization.